Look, I understand that Bethesda fans don't really like me that much, and I'm not saying they're 100% wrong for feeling that way. I'd definitely be picking on you guys. But this isn't a video bashing Bethesda, so you guys got the week off. You don't gotta hate me this time. I would be lying if I said I haven't played my fair share of Scrolls-likes, with the most recent one being Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. And I've ultimately come to the conclusion that these games just do not work that well. I'm not saying that every Bethesda clone sucks. Instead, I would say that most Scrolls-likes usually just end up being mid at best. So what exactly is a Bethesda clone? If you ask me, it's a game that has a huge open world, or at least the appearance of one, where you can go anywhere, do anything, see anything, steal anything, kill anybody, shit like that. There's multiple factions, there's a whole lot of side quests, where you can kind of just forget about the main story. So pretty much Skyrim or Fallout. Examples of these would be literally anything made by Piranha Bytes or Obsidian, Dread Delusion, or the inspiration for this video, Tainted Grail. So why don't these games work? For starters, and as simple as it sounds, they just don't have the money to do it. Bethesda games cost a lot of money to make, and this always ends up being an issue for these types of games. Making a huge open world game like this obviously costs a lot of money, and because these studios don't have infinite money like Bethesda, a lot of them have to cut corners in certain core aspects of these games. Whether that's the combat, the open world, the story, the enemy variety, the side quest, the visuals, etc, etc. Because of their limited budget, they have to cut corners. Dread Delusion is a perfect example of this. Visually and aesthetically, it is amazing, but this game fucking sucks. Piranha Bytes games usually have like a vaguely interesting story, but the combat and controls should be considered war crimes. See, Tainted Grail tries to evenly spread out its very limited budget into every aspect of the game, which you would think would be a good idea, but ultimately this just makes the game mid at literally everything. The combat isn't terrible, but it's nothing special. They attempted to mix Skyrim and Elden Ring, which conceptually could work, but because they had to cut corners due to making this a huge open world game, the amount of jank that this game has just ruins the Souls-like elements that they're trying to go for. So in the end, it just becomes Skyrim with like a really shitty dodge roll. Now, I will say, I decided to play the game the wrong way. It's very clear that this game wants you to use magic and treat combat seriously. It feels as if there is like a designated playstyle that they want you to play with, and to me that's really boring. So instead, I decided to just become God and smite everyone to death. Yes, this wasn't the right way to play the game, but I would be lying if I said I didn't have some kind of fun with it. The visuals are passable, I guess. I mean, it's nothing crazy. It looks kind of generic for like a fantasy world, but I've seen worse. The story and side quests kind of suck. They focused way too much on the main quest while not having nearly enough side quests. Stop me if you've heard this before. You are the chosen one who will either save or destroy the world. I know, crazy, right? And the side quests that this game does have weren't really that interesting. They all pretty much consist of the big three of RPG missions. You have bounties, fetch quests, and missions that NPCs will give you where they don't tell you the entire story. This game also just has a lot of performance issues, whether that's frame drops, pop-in, or just random bugs. This game really isn't polished. The second problem is just a lack of originality. Most of these games go down the same two paths. Either it's a Skyrim clone or it's a Fallout clone. And because gaming studios have been overtaken by people who clearly didn't grow up with video games, and they need a damn checklist just in order to create the fucking game, they all pretty much end up making the same game. Avowed is Skyrim if it was gay. Tainted Grail is Skyrim if it had a bastard child with Elden Ring. Dread Delusion is Skyrim if it was a walking sim. Outer Worlds is Fallout if Redditors went to space. I mean, look at the developers known for these type of games. Piranha Bytes, known for their hit game Gothic 2, have released the same game about 30 times. Obsidian, who definitely isn't the guy who peaked in high school, they haven't made a good game in 16 years. And no, Outer Worlds is not a good game. We are not buying into that propaganda. It is mid at best, and that's me being incredibly generous. If you like Outer Worlds, either A, you haven't played enough video games, B, you have really bad taste, or C, you are trying way too hard to be different. Both of these games suck.
Know your fucking place, trash.
Now for games like Dread Delusion and Tainted Grail, I can show some sympathy for them. These are very clearly games made by small developers with not much experience and a very limited budget. Does that mean they are exempt from criticism? No. Dread Delusion sucks as a video game, but what I think went wrong was that they tried to make a comic book into a video game. Looking at their homepage, it seems like they make comic books in very similar fashion to Dread Delusion, so that's what I'm gonna go with, and it's also just very clear that they didn't know how to make a video game. And for Tainted Grail, this is also a small studio who actually tried to make something good with the limited budget they had. It's not perfect and it has its flaws, but you know, it's still better than Outer Worlds, so there is that. So what do we do with this genre? Well, for starters, there is always mods. You can mod both Skyrim and Fallout to be a completely new game. But that's probably not the answer you want to hear, nor is that my final answer. No, I don't think that developers, experienced or not, should stop trying to make these type of games. I haven't fully taken the black pill yet, and I do believe that there is a small chance that we can still save gaming, and that maybe real developers can start creating good games again. And we can destroy all this corporate bullshit that we're fed every year. So what needs to happen, if you're a developer trying to make one of these games, is that you need to make it unique. That must be the top priority. Stop trying to make Skyrim and Fallout. We have already played Skyrim and Fallout. We already have these games. We've had them for over a decade at this point. If you're gonna make one of these games, make it unique. Make it something new. That's not to say that you can't take inspiration from these games. Matter of fact, I'd say that's exactly what you should be doing. Dread Delusion teaches you that a unique style and aesthetic, something that has its own identity, is very important. Tainted Grail shows you that you need to get creative with the combat. Outer Worlds and Avowed are perfect examples of what you shouldn't do. Then Bethesda and Piranha Bytes show you that if you make a good enough game, you can resell it 100 times.